Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. My name is Mike and today we are going to be doing an eyeshadow palette haul for you because I did buy a couple of eyeshadow palettes again in the past couple of months. I definitely want to preface by saying that I didn't get all of this in one go. There are also a couple of controversial things in here, so I do apologize in advance. I will save those towards the end so that you can watch the rest of the video, and if you don't want to see that, you don't have to see it. However, I do want to also explain to you how I will be using those products or what I will be doing with those products moving forward. And I'm not exactly sure in what order I got these anymore, so I'm just going to talk to you about them. And I also want to say that I've already tried a couple of these because I also want to do a 10 palette eyeshadow review again for you this month. So some of these I already have thoughts on, but I'm gonna try and leave that for the review video, which should be up shortly. I think in a week or two I should be able to show you that. So there is actually one palette that is in today's eyeshadow palette haul that is currently on my eyes. So I thought we could do it like that. I thought that could be fun. So let me start off by something that I remember is one of the first things that I bought as like part of this haul, and that is the Sigma Enchanted palette. I bought this because Kelly Gooch kept raving about this being one of her favorite eyeshadow palettes, and I was like, all right, Kelly, if you like it that much, I'm gonna go ahead and try it. And I found this on Beauty Bay, but on Beauty Bay it was a lot more expensive than the place where I ended up buying it. I ended up buying this from a Dutch beauty like online makeup store called Boozy Shop, because Sigma is just not a brand that I can like see in store and swatch and do like just have a look at it. It just doesn't work that way. So what this palette has to offer, and as you can see I've already used it, this is a palette that has a neutral, it's a neutral palette with a twist. That's how I would describe it. It definitely has a couple of very interesting shades. For instance, these two greens really speak to me, and also this like duochrome kind of shade. It's got a couple of like mauvey purpley tones as well. The only shade that I'm really not a big fan of, but I never am, is this very yellow tone gold. So if you would like to know how I feel about this, because I've already used every shade in this palette, I will be featuring it in my 10 palette review when that goes live. So this is a palette that I was very excited for. Stay tuned to know my full thoughts. And then I think that this is the next bit I think I got, and one of these palettes is also on my eyes today, and it's 3 of the little Nabla Cutie palettes. And the cool toned one, the platinum one, is the one that I'm wearing on my eyes today. So in case you were wondering what that is, that's what I'm wearing. And when they launched these new ones, I was like, yes, these are really, really nice. I did opt for the slightly older Coral palette over the Metropolitan because I felt that that color story just appealed to me a bit better. So let's start there. So the Coral is a very warm toned palette, which if you know me, you know I like my cool tones, you know I like my neutrals, and something like this is just a little bit more out there for me. However, it's got 2 really stunning like duochrome shades, so I can't wait to play around with this. This is one that I haven't used yet. And then you get this really stunning coral, and then this reddish shade as well. And I believe that this is also one of the palettes that has one of their, I believe they're called like leather, whatever. It doesn't say on the packaging, but these little Nabla palettes, these mattes, have like a certain like texture to them, I believe. Again, every single one of these little Nabla palettes has like one shade where I'm like, really? Coral Amber, not my favorite. This like bronzy brown shade is something I have a million times over in my collection, but those other 5 is like warm tone neutrals with a twist for me. So, and I thought that this would work better on me than the Metropolitan because it has a really nice coral shade, but it seems very similar to this one. Oh, and by the way, I bought this one because Angelica Newqvist keeps raving about how much she likes this, so that's why I wanted to try that. What's on my eyes today is the platinum one. I already mentioned it. Again, one shade in here that I don't really care for. Can you guess? Yes, it's the gold. The other 5 are really nice, and I was very surprised at how neutral this was. It's not super cool toned, which is my gripe with a lot of cool tones, but full thoughts in a 10 palette review. And then I also bought the Wild Berry, which I also haven't put on my eyes yet. And the reason why I wanted to own this is because this shimmer is called Alchemy 2.0, and one of my favorite singles by Nabla is Alchemy. And I have it as like a little single in a pot, layered over a Colourpop Super Shock shadow that I own. It is absolutely stunning. So to get like an updated version of that shade was like, okay, I need that. Plus, berries are some of my favorite shades to wear. So I really like these like two plum shades in the middle. And then you get this really interesting, almost like raspberry color. And then this is also more of a duochrome. And then, you guessed it, this shade called Incense is like a peachy brown. I think it's more of a satin, so it can probably work in the crease. But again, browns and bronzes and golds, I don't need those anymore, people. Like, those are quite small palettes, but I definitely got some more small palettes. Case in point, these are all by different brands, but I just wanted to show you them together. I bought the Viseart Petit Pro 3, and this is one that you will have already seen me film with, because I use it in my most recent Get Ready With Me, which I did at the end of July. So if you want to see a look with this, then please check out the eye in the corner, because then you can see this palette going on. I have to say, it's a really pretty neutral palette. I bought it because it has those like mauve tones and those greens. And I had never tried Viseart mattes before, because the only Viseart palette I have is an all shimmer, like one of their larger 12 pan palettes. And I just wanted to give one of these smaller Petit Pros a whirl, just to try Viseart's formula and sort of get the full lowdown on the shimmers and the mattes. And I have to say, I now understand why people rave about Viseart mattes. They are really nice. Then the Zoeva Precious palette. This is one that I haven't tried yet. This is quite expensive for Zoeva because inside you only get 6 shades. And this is almost as expensive as some of their 10 pan palettes, which was a bit of a surprise to me. This retails for like close to 19 euros on their official website. And the larger palettes are 23. So it's only a little, like, it's only a small jump in price to get from 6 shades to 10 shades. But again, I wanted to try this. It's got these like plummy, rosy kind of shades, this like peachy rose gold, some mauve tones, and again, that gold. Like, can we like, if this would have been this 5 pan, I would have been happy too. But this is one that I still have yet to try. I'm just hoping that this is like super special quality from Zoeva, because this, I just wanted to try it because they've never done anything this small. Like, they've done some travel palettes, but never like a palette that is just a 6 pan. Like, the travel palettes are just 6 pan versions of their larger palettes, and then I would rather own the larger palette, but this only comes in this. And it seems to be because it has a very different formula from the other shades that Zoeva does, which is why those shimmers are apparently like something special. We'll see if it's special. And then we have Juvia's Place, the violets. And Juvia's Place was doing like a very random sale at the start of June, and I decided to pick this up. This was still on my wish list. They restocked them. I think I only paid $10 for this, which I think is a great price point. I already did a look with this as well. I also filmed a video with this look in which I ranked all of my Juvia's Place eyeshadow palettes. So either that's already up or it's coming your way very, very soon. So if you would like to see the look that I did with this, just make sure you stay tuned for that video. But I really wanted to try one of these smaller Juvia's Place palettes. I'm still umming and ahhing about the berries, but I already have the Nabla berry palette. I have the Lime Crime Venus XL, and I have my Modern Renaissance. So I feel I don't need more berries. But purples, which can be really, really hard to do, I just wanted to give this a whirl. And I think that the range of purples you get in here are so, so stunning. And I like this like rose gold. I thought I wasn't going to like it, but in the end, I feel it does play really well with these shades. And a lot of people don't like this because it only has 2 mattes. But you know, I prefer a matte, like a shimmer over a matte any time of day. So that's why I don't mind it having 4 shimmers. I actually like that. So that's good. I also got a very boring palette. I got the Lorac Pro 4. In a way, I got this to complete the collection, I'm not gonna lie, but I was very much intrigued by this palette. So this is quite warm toned. Again, some like berry plummy kind of shades over here. and also this black currant shade. But it is quite neutral, and I really, really love my Lorac Pro 3. That is like one of my top favorite eyeshadow palettes when it comes to neutrals. And I really appreciate how Lorac gives you a full row of mattes, a full row of shimmers. This is a palette that so many people sleep on because this was released when sort of like the Lorac hype train had sort of left the building. And so nobody really talked about it. I think a lot of people were let down by the Lorac Pro 3 because it was so light and it looked very ashy on so many people. It works really great on me. It's the first neutral palette where I really felt I could use every single shade. This looks like it might also be that kind of palette for me, which is why I wanted to own it, like Rosebud. I can't wait to put that in the crease. Like, this has just all the neutrals that I like. It's like rosy, like rosy, plummy, neutrally kind of shades, but still very sort of wearable for work. So that's why I wanted to own this as well. So I finally got my hands on it. Lorac is very hard to get where I live. And then a palette that I said I wasn't going to buy in a new makeup releases video in the fall time. And that's the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. And the reason why I didn't want to get it, because this was released as like a Christmas release. But why was this a Christmas release? Like, by the time spring hit, I was like, ooh, would they still have the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde? Because these are the kind of shades I want to play around with in like the spring summertime. So this is one I haven't used yet. And this as well, like all of these like rosy, neutrally kind of shades. And then you get this like full row of like this is a very interesting shimmer. And this has just really nice textures, but it doesn't have those chunky glitters that she insists on doing in these larger palettes. This seems to have interesting duochromes. You get the right mattes to really make a full look. It seems to be more on the neutral / cool toned end of the spectrum. Why did I sleep on this? Why did I wait so long to get this? I still have to try it. I don't very often buy palettes the minute they release, but the minute I saw this, I knew I wanted to get it. I got myself a full-size Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette. This was ouch. Because it's very pricey. I got it the moment it launched on her website. I didn't get the black packaging because I didn't randomly want to get a pink palette. I just didn't really see the point. My packaging, like the box, broke a little, so I think I'm just gonna have to like see if I can like stick it back together. Probably something went wrong in shipping. But this palette, when I did my makeup wish list, this hadn't been announced yet, what I was going to get was the La Vie en Rose by Pat McGrath, which is one of her smaller 6 pans, and another one of her little 4 pans called Ritualistic Rose. If Ritualistic Rose and La Vie en Rose had a baby, we would get Divine Rose 2. And I didn't get the Divine Rose original palette because it's just very similar to some of these like neutrally tones that I already have, like Urban Decay Naked 3. I now own the Lorac Pro 4, so I never felt that was very unique to what was already in the market, but this does. People have compared this bright pink shade to the bright pink in the La Vie en Rose, and it's actually quite similar, and I actually think this palette may be the replacement for that La Vie en Rose palette. That's the way how I kind of see it. You get 4 of these very interesting shades. Again, Pat McGrath insists on putting a gold in every single one of her palettes, so that's not one of my favorites. This is a multi-chrome. This is a really interesting shade too. This is a warmer tone, but it has a really pretty sheen to it. It only has 2 mattes, so that's a bit of a shame. I definitely want to try more of her matte formula, and I still have to put this on my face too. I was definitely saving this for like my summer vacation so I could really focus on trying this palette and like just giving it the attention it deserves, because this is a €125 palette, you guys. I'm not just gonna like whip it out on like a Friday morning before I go to work. No, I wanna sit with this and really savor the moment. You know what I mean? So yeah, Pat McGrath, Divine Rose 2. So where the theme was small palettes, I also could have told you that the theme was large palettes, because I also got myself the Glamlite Birthday Cake. Is that what it's called? No, just the cake palette. It just says birthday cake on the top, in the front. No, it is like a birthday cake. It comes in this oven, so I'm going to keep the box because it's just way too much fun. And then the palette itself looks like this. Let me put this guy over here so we can see it in the background. So it comes in a little oven, and then you get the palette in here. A lot of people have been telling me that Glamlite has really, really good quality shadows. It's just that all of those like food palettes that they do with all that really gimmicky packaging in the shape of like burgers and pizzas, I was like, no can do. I did not feel it until they released this. So this is why this is the first time I bought this. Oh, it still has the plastic on the mirror. This palette looks like this. It's more like a rainbow palette, but one of the reasons why I was intrigued by this is because it has a couple of really stunning shimmers. And I've been mentioning how I love a lot of my colorful eyeshadow palettes, but I feel they lack good colorful shimmers. This gives you a yellow, this nice really like lavendery purpley kind of shade, this like more indigo kind of shade. This strawberry shade is really pretty pinky purple. You get a shimmering blue in here. You get a gold, but I remember I did already swatch this. I didn't use it yet. And where this looks quite gold and boring in the pan, when it's swatched, it seemed to have something different to it. It was more like a duochrome, you could say. And then you've got carrot and guava, and these are two really nice warm tones. So I just felt that this was really stunning, and I can't wait to play around with these. I do think this is going to stain really badly though. That's my prediction, because these are so bright and vibrant that I'm just a little bit afraid that it's going to stain my lids. However, I think this will be a stunning one. I've never tried Glamlite before, like I said, so we'll see how this goes. I've also seen people with Glamlite palettes that have started to leak, so where the oils start to leak into the packaging, so I hope it doesn't happen to this one, because that is no bueno, but we'll see whether that's gonna happen. And then very recently, this is like I sort of waited to film this video until this came in. I bought myself some Colourpop stuff, and if you again saw my makeup wish list and you knew that this was on my wish list, and of course Colourpop is quite affordable, and for me Colourpop is only worth it if I make sure I have a larger order, because you know, with the customs fee and shipping fees that I would have to pay otherwise, it just gets a little bit expensive. So I find that it's easier to like save things up and then get everything in one go. So what I did is I bought some neutrals, because I have a lot of the monochromatic palettes by Colourpop, but those are all quite colorful. And then I only have like the Dream Street, which is an older palette, but I haven't tried any of their newer neutral palettes. So I got the Flutter by, and this is one that I have been umming and ahhing about for a while. And then I think, who was it? I think Jen Phelps mentioned this on her channel as being a great cool tone palette. It has this like sparkly packaging, which is actually quite cute. And this is what the palette looks like. It's cool tone mauves. It's cool tone mauves. It's a theme with these Colourpop palettes, I have to say. This looks stunning. It does have a pressed glitter, and I believe this Sunflare shade is a Super Shock, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's like when they started doing those Super Shocks in these like 12 pan palettes. This just looks totally up my street. And since this is quite small and handy, I think it may be nice for travel. And then I got two of their 9 pans. I got the Going Coconuts, which is, I think, the neutral one in their 9 pan like plastic packaging line. Ooh. This still has all of the packaging intact. This is what it looks like. Again, a lot of people have been saying this is quite neutral to cooler toned, so I can't wait to play around with this. Cocoa Crush looks like completely up my street, and the Cocoa as well. It seems to have a bit of purpley shimmer running through it, and then you just get 5 mattes in here, so good matte shimmer ratio. Making Mauves is another one that I wanted to get, and I knew the minute they launched this palette that this is what I wanted to have. It's got 6 mattes, 3 shimmers. Yeah, This is just a palette of my dreams. I love mauves. And these are definitely like more neutrally mauves. It's like yummy goodness. And then if you don't like controversy, if you don't want me to talk about this particular brand, then please click out the video now, because I did get 2 Jeffree Star palettes in the past couple of months. The Bloodlust, I was very much umming and ahhing about whether I wanted to get it. So let me talk about that first and why I in the end decided to buy it. So one of the reasons why I didn't want to get it is because it is just so big and bulky, and I don't really love very big packaging. I am going to try and hopefully reorganize my makeup collection a little bit so I can actually put this box inside a drawer so that it doesn't get all gross and dusty and all that. But in the end, I caved because this palette has a couple of really, really stunning shades. And it wasn't until I saw people doing this in their eyeshadow palette collection videos in March that I was like, when this comes back in stock, I want to get it. It has that teal. I really like that shimmering red. And I really, for instance, also like this periwinkle shade. It does have a couple of like neutrals at the top that I feel are all quite similar, but now that I have it in real life, I think they are quite distinct. It is still a little bit light though, I feel. But I feel that about a lot of Jeffree Star eyeshadow palettes actually. And then of course he came out with the cremated palette, which a lot of people were already upset about for it being cold cremated in a time that, you know, just wasn't a good business move, but hey. You know, makeup takes time to develop, so I get that argument. I don't like that his face is on the cover, which is why I keep it in the box. And this is what it looks like. And if you know anything about me, you know I love cool tones, so I knew that I wanted to try this. And it's actually being compared to the Grimoire palette by V Cosmetics, saying that the V Cosmetics is very similar to this. I have the Grimoire palette by V Cosmetics, so I can sort of see whether that's truly a dupe. And I am going to be talking about cool toned eyeshadow palettes in one of my videos this month, where I do want to feature this. However, I am only going to be, from now on, just in this one eyeshadow palette collection that will be coming up this month, I will be showing these, but I'm not going to be putting these in any like 10 palette reviews. I'm not going to be filming looks on this with this on my channel. I put my money into these. These are incredibly expensive, so I'm not just going to declutter them. However, after this month is over, after this video is done, after that cool tone palette video is done, and after my eyeshadow palette collection video is done, you will no longer be seeing me using any Jeffree Star products on my channel. I just think that that's the way to move forward. I just wanted to be fully transparent in this video and show you that I did buy these 2 palettes. So yeah, that's it for this video today. I really hope you enjoyed watching it. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make 3 new videos a week typically, but this month I'm talking only about eyeshadow palettes. So if you'd like to see some of the reviews that I did with some of the stuff that I've already tried from today's haul, then make sure you stay tuned because that's coming up. And yes, I will be doing an eyeshadow palette collection video, as I already mentioned too. So thank you very much for watching. I really hope to see you in my next video. Bye-bye!